I was wrong on the best way to invest in S&P 500 using the SRS. So in one of my earlier videos, I compared the best platforms to invest S&P 500 using SRS, and the two options were Endowus versus Poem's Cash Plus. Because for Endowus, I was using the Amundi Prime US fund, and then for Poem's, I was using the S27 S&P 500 ETF. And the competition was quite clear-cut, because for Endowus, there will be a recurring fee of 0.3% per annum in service charges to maintain that fund. Whereas if you bought the S27 via Poem's Cash Plus, there wouldn't be any annual recurring charges other than the expense ratio. So the comparison between S27 and Amundi Prime US is quite clear-cut. Alright, there's really no fight between S27 and Amundi Prime due to the platform fees charged by Endowus. But here's the thing, I was enlightened after I learned more about the BlackRock iShares S&P 500 US fund. So I went to do my research and clarify with Endowus, and here is what they have said. The Amundi Prime US fund is a physical replication, which means that it invests directly in the actual stocks of the index. And Amundi Prime US fund, being a unit trust established in Luxembourg, has 30% withholding tax, which is the same as S27 ETF. But this is not the case for the BlackRock iShares S&P 500 fund, because it is a synthetic replication which uses derivative contracts to mirror index performance, and that means zero dividends, which in terms means zero dividend withholding tax. So if you compare between the BlackRock iShares S&P 500 fund, hereby known as IE, which has 0% dividend withholding tax, versus Amundi Prime US fund of 30% dividend withholding tax, that's going to be quite huge difference, right? And that's just one of my observations. So if you have better funds to invest using your SRS, then come and join us at over 15,000 members in the Honey Money SG Telegram group to share your ideas there. Now, I know what some of you are going to say, because you are going to look at the expense ratio, right? Amundi is going to have 0.05% per annum total expense ratio. But if you look at the IE, it has 0.08% per annum. So IE is more expensive. Don't forget that the fund expense ratio is only a small portion, whereas the dividend withholding tax is a much larger portion of it. For context-wise, if you look at most S&P 500 ETF, they yield about 1.34% dividend yield per year. So if you look at unit trusts like Amundi Prime US or S27 ETF, a 30% withholding tax on a 1.34% dividend, there will be 30% multiplied by 1.34, which gives around 0.4% per annum. So 0.4% per annum, if you add S27 expense ratio of 0.09%, there will be a total cost of 0.49% per annum. Then for IE, since Endowus FundSmart charges 0.3% per annum in the service fees, so you add 0.08% from IE expense ratio plus 0.3%, which is a total of 0.38%. So 0.38% from IE versus S27 ETF with Poem's Cash Plus of 0.49%. That is a net savings of 0.11% per annum. And like I always say, profit is not guaranteed, but cost is almost guaranteed. So if you can minimize your cost, always look for the cheapest option available. And in this case, IE will prevail. Then my portfolio, how? Since most of it was in S27 ETF. And I want to put it out there that I'm neither sponsored by Endowus nor Poem, so I have no incentive to push either of these platforms. But if you're using cash to invest instead of SRS, then you can consider this platform, which is my sponsor. Some of you may prefer to start investing in Singapore stocks, REITs, or ETFs, which is why you should consider to use Webull, because it offers competitive pricing with low commission and provides the access to buy unit share in the Singapore stock market. For example, the board lot size of Singapore stocks is minimum 100 shares, and if the price of the stock is around 35 Singapore dollars per share, it will cost around 3,500 Singapore dollars to buy a board lot order of 100 shares. But Webull allows you to choose the lot type and select unit share for some counters, so you can buy from as low as 1 share per order if you prefer a smaller size order. For the welcome promo for new customers only, fulfill the requirements for funding and trading for the specific amounts and maintain until the specified date, and you can get cash voucher rewards of up to $1,050 plus an exclusive Moneybull interest booster of 180 days, which could elevate your USD Moneybull subscription return to up to 8.4% per annum return. There is also a transfer in deal for both new and existing customers who have not done any shares transfer to Webull. There are 3 transfer in tiers from $10,000 to $150,000 worth of shares, and maintain for 90 days to get up to $2,000 of cash vouchers plus a bonus of $500 trading vouchers, plus a transfer out fee subsidy of up to $150 with my exclusive link. Terms and conditions apply. So don't miss these offers. Use my exclusive link or scan the QR code right here to get your Webull account today. Now coming back, let's talk about some disadvantages of S27 ETF. Firstly, there is no fractional shares, so you always have to buy in one full unit, which is around $500. So for those of you who have less than $500 to invest each time, then you will have to accumulate your SRS funds until it has reached the current S27 price, then you can reinvest. Also, the bid-ask spread for S27 is quite large. It can range from a few dollars actually. So sometimes your order may take really long to fill, and from my experience, sometimes it takes like one whole day, and if the liquidity is already low, the order may not even be filled even after waiting for one day. Also, the fact about S27 ETF is that it is dividend distributing, which means that it will pay you a small dividend every quarter. And if your portfolio size is small, that small dividend is not enough to make up one full share of S27, which means your reinvestment is not really optimized. Which is why for my own situation, which is not financial advice, you must assess your own financial situation. I am moving away from the S27 ETF and moving towards the IE portfolio. And that means I've already sold my S27 ETF from Poems Cash Plus since May, and I've already transferred the funds to Endowus to buy IE. Also know that some of my SRS funds are parked in the Singapore Savings Bonds, and you know the SSB will give you some bond interest every half a year. So this bond interest, I'll use it to reinvest in IE, which is a minimum transaction size of 100 Singapore dollars per order, much lesser than the S27 ETF. So with my SRS portfolio being transferred to Endowus, it will also help me utilize some of my excess fee credits which I have chalked up over the years. Therefore, if you want to earn a free $20 Endowus fee credit as a new user, you can sign up via my referral link here. So does that mean no go for S27 ETF anymore? I think there is still some case for it. Number one, if you are investing in the Amundi Prime US fund using SRS now, I think S27 is still better than Amundi Prime US. And secondly, S27 is a full physical replication. Some of you may not be comfortable with synthetic replication because it seems complicated to you, and that is okay. So if you want a full replication of the ETF, S27 will be a better choice compared to IE. But really, Amundi Prime US is not really good for SRS investing because, unlike most people think, it is still subjected to 30% dividend withholding tax, and this has been confirmed with Endowus. So if you really don't want so much of your dividends being taken away, you can look at IE, BlackRock iShares S&P 500 fund. Then if you don't like the synthetic replication, look for S27 ETF with Poems. And that's because Poems also have a new user sign up reward where you can get one Bank of America share and one Google share, total value over $200 as of the current recording date. And this is valid until 30th of June 2024, so you still have some time. The terms and conditions is that you have to fulfill the funding and buy trade requirements as per what is described. Also, you have to activate Smart Park and CFD. You don't really have to use them, you just have to activate them to ensure you are eligible for the promotion. So this video is really for those who are using your SRS funds to invest in the most preferred S&P 500 instrument. But if you're using cash or CPF, there are other ways that are more cost optimized, and I'll go through them in this previous video right here.